All of my stuff is done out of Ocean. Basically, there's about 20-some people in that office. I try to go up there at least a couple times a year to just, kind of keep up appearance, just kind of keep, bottom line is you want to be friends with the underwriters.
Yeah.
There are times where, they're doing this with a file.
Yeah.
So, understanding how the underwriters work and always being on their good side and stuff like that, that's what it's about. So I do enjoy the fact that I deal with the same underwriters. But again, I have my same processor, so you'll be dealing with me and Danielle. But yes, I have full control over my files. That's what really a good loan officer is really a coordinator, because they're dead in the middle of the transaction, and they have all these third-party companies working on it. You have the appraiser, you have the agents, you have the title company, you have the attorneys. You just have just so much going on. Not to mention within our own system, we have the processors, the underwriters, the MI companies. So basically, I'm on top of everything. I want to know what everybody's doing. The system that we have has milestones. Your customers, when they do a loan with us, they'll have their own portal that they can go into and upload documents. They can electronically sign documents. They can see where they're at in the process. They can see what conditions are still needed.
That's great.
It's just wonderful. They set that program up maybe about 6 to 8 months ago. It was a program that I used to work on when they brought it over. I was beyond thrilled. It's Encompass 360. If some of you may have heard it, may not. It's probably the best lending operating system in the mortgage industry. And they bought every single bell and whistle on it. So as far as technology is concerned, I would say at least Weichert Financial, the question is up there. From what I hear from the real estate side, they're pretty good too.
So, being up in the Wilmington area mostly, how much do you deal with USDA?
So that's a good question. USDA actually gets asked a lot. Newcastle County doesn't have too much USDA, but we do have agents in Kent and Sussex County. Primarily I have one agent in Sussex County, Vince Maviglio. You guys may have run into him. Yeah, probably. Great guy. Always get that question. USDA, I know a lot about, along with VA as well. Down here, this is where I tell everybody when they ask me, like, you're really going to probably have to go to Kent or more Sussex. As you guys know, you can go right to the website and check the property, just put in the property address, and they'll tell you if that property is USDA approved, along with the income limits as well. Keep in mind, that's the one thing with USDA's are our income limits, but definitely familiar with the program. It's honestly a pretty simple program. It's more comparable to VA, is the way I put it. VA is a little bit more stricter than FHA, and I feel like that's what USDA is. It's probably in between FHA and VA, but closer to VA as far as the appraisal strictness and the program. It's 100% financing. They kind of have to be that way. That's okay.
Events.
Yes.
We do a lot of events, and we certainly wouldn't have you at some of our smaller events to have you come down here, but we do things like Dover Days. We have a big event coming up on base the end of August, and we have a display that we sponsor things for. It's military, when I say on base, it's Dover Air Force Base. And to have a mortgage person there is always impactful because it's like step one. So you're there, you get a lot of good information, and then our agents are there to talk to them about being an agent for them. Are you available to work an event? Have you done anything like that?
Yes. And again, I'm not one, just because you're asking the question. Corporate uses me kind of the example. I brought life into our office, and what I mean by that is, hey, let's have a barbecue. Like I cooked breakfast for the agents, like literally brought in like the hot plates and all that, cooked breakfast for them, cooked cheesesteaks for them one night. Had two of my friends that are bartenders come in one night to the office, set the office up all nice, had it all set up like a nice happy hour. I'm huge on events. That's how, one, you team build, and two, like you're talking about with the community, you get out there, you meet other customers, you're getting your face, you're getting your company name out there. Any events you guys have, just let me know. Schedule permitting is really it. The only thing I can say about the end of August is I have a trip down to the beach, but what I will say is it's not that far. I can drive up for the day. So seriously, so she'll let me know. It's not like I'm in the Poconos or something.
Have you ever been on Dover Air Force Base?
I was actually in the Air Force.
Oh, well, okay then. Well, have you ever been on Dover Air Force Base?
I did. They definitely took us down there for some training.
That's huge too, guys, because telling our VA people that their loan officer is former military too is like awesome. That's fabulous.
And you guys do have a lot of military, so something let me throw out there for you guys. So again, these questions are all great, because I don't want to overload you guys with information, but also I'll take as much questions as you guys have. I used to work for a company that I would highly advise everybody to stay away from, that did 95% VA. I left for a very particular reason. It's where I got 20 of my licenses from, actually.
Veterans United.
New Day Financial.
Oh, darn.
If you guys have ever dealt with them, have any?
I haven't dealt with them, but I've gotten so much mail.
It was an eye opener. I got my licenses and I got out of there in about 4 or 5 months, because it took that long. I mean, 20 licenses, it took a while. Once I got my licenses and got to see how things work, it's insane. Back when the rates were, this is what, back in 2010, 11, the rates were probably in the fours, mid fours or something of that nature at that point. They were charging these veterans 5.5% to 6%, about a point to a point and a half, well above the market. And it was all strategy. It was sickening. It was absolutely sickening. With that being said, though, 95% of those loans were VA. I've done a ton of VA loans. Again, we waive all of our fees for veterans, and that's because of Jim Weichert. That's the other nice thing about Weichert, is that it's all owned by Jim. There is no board. We're not publicly traded. We don't have stock brokers that tell us how to run our business. So when it comes to VA, it's a program I'm definitely familiar with, and beyond love working for them. My whole family was in the Air Force, so anything I can do to give back.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Any other questions, guys?
I got one more. I'm so sorry, but you're here for a reason, and I'm going to make sure I
definitely. No, honestly, this is getting out to you guys exactly what I do, so I appreciate it.
Do you have a pre-qualification form, one-pager that we could share with clients as we're encouraging them to call you to fill out so that you have it in advance?
I don't do that. It's funny that you say that. I'm very big on compliance. Just one thing to throw out there for you guys. The issue with you guys giving I had one of the agents come up to me within the first week at Weichert, and they made a big deal about pulling that from all the agents. So it's up to you guys to throw it out there. When you guys are giving them that pre-approval, it can be looked at as completing a mortgage application or something of that nature. It's, I don't like to say it's going to scare you guys, but in all technicality, that could also be deemed as trying to originate a loan, which is, again, technicality.
So let him be the mortgage.
I have no problem not having one. I'm excited. Less is best.
Here's the thing, if you need something like that, the website. Website takes them literally 3 to 5 minutes to do. If you have somebody, again, that, just, hey, we might lose this guy if you don't do the pre-approval now, call him. It takes me, I can do a pre-approval over the phone in 15, 20 minutes, depending on their questions. So, but, I mean, again, just utilize me if you guys, need anything at all. Pre-approvals, when it comes to that, when I do the pre-approvals, what I typically do, and every agent's completely different on how they run their business. But what I do is I'll do the pre-approval, let them know what they're qualified for, let you guys know, update you, throughout the process on what's going on. I do not send a pre-approval letter over right away unless if you need that. I have some agents that are like, unless if I see something in a piece of paper, I'm not going anywhere. The reason why I don't give you a pre-approval letter is that pre-approval letter means nothing until they put the offer in, because we don't want the sellers to see that they're pre-approved to $400,000 and they're buying a $350,000 house, or whatever you want to throw out there scenario-wise. So I'll tell them, make the pre-approval letter to your offer. If they counter offer them, no worries. I'll send you a new letter over. It's up to you. If you're an agent that's like, look, I just want the pre-approval letter, we can get an updated letter down the road. Whatever you guys need, every agent's different.
Do you provide any, or do you require any documentation from the borrower prior to issuing pre-approval?
So I feel the customer out is really what's going to happen. If they're self-employed, if they're commissioned, no question. I just tell them, look, I got to see the tax returns. They're not going to be able to calculate their income. If it's someone that's hourly, if I can tell that I got this income, okay. I'm salary, I make $60,000 a year, great, all right, and I get overtime. All right, let's see if the $60,000 a year works first. If I need more income, like I need to be able to prove that overtime, I would say, yeah, I need to see W-2s and pay stubs. What's nice is that Fannie and Freddie is starting to get away from requesting for the tax returns on every file again, which is nice. And that's something to throw out there while I'm just on that. we got rid of all of our overrides. What that means is you have all these guidelines and compliance laws that are out there that we all have to follow. Then each lender will take that and then put their own overrides on it. We've gotten rid of all of that. So basically, when I put your customer's information into what's called AUS, the automated underwriting system, through DU and LP, desktop underwriter, loan prospector, DU is Fannie Mae, LP is Freddie Mac. When we run it through there and it gives me the findings, every lender uses this system, just so you guys
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
When it tells me that they're approved eligible, I look at the findings and those are the conditions. An underwriter tries to add anything to that, I'm fighting, no question. And when I mean, I will literally contact that underwriter and say, hey, look, why did you put that on there? Okay, well, you got to take that off. There's got to be a serious reason for why it needs to be on there, like something that could fail us in an audit. A lot of times, here's the problem with an underwriter. This is what I found out when I was one. I used to think when I was a loan officer before I was an underwriter, well, what's going on with these guys? Do they get bonus for denying loans? It's not the case. They actually get bonus on loans that close. That blew my mind because I was like, there's no way. There's just no way. Here's what keeps them honest, and they have the most stressful jobs. Another reason why I was like, I can't do this. They have credit signing authority, usually up to $1 million, and then people that do jumbo loans are different underwriters, but usually your credit signing authority is up to $1 million. You have one buyback, you can lose your credit signing authority. Just one buyback. At least at Bank of America was 130% that we had to buy that loan back at. So just a $100,000 loan just cost the company 30 grand. Well, we all know that's not the average loan amount. So could you imagine you cost the company $40,000, $50,000, $60,000? You're gone. You're fired. That's the problem with these underwriters. That's why they're so nervous. That's why they're over asking for stuff, because they have one buyback. They very well are probably going to lose their credit signing authority and probably get fired. Now, if they're at Bank of America, maybe they'll get moved to another department. But but that's just so you know, that's the underwriter's world. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
No, seriously.
Her hand keeps getting lower.
How many loans a month? This is not an interrogation, and there is no bright light shining just on your face. But how many loans a month are you processing currently, personally?
It can fluctuate. I will say, I was up to, my pipeline was somewhere between 10 and 15 loans on average a month. That would be in the pipeline like at all times, and then it could go up to maybe in the 20s. Now with the new systems, and we're shutting loans down just so quick, it's weird looking at my pipeline now with this new system. It just bothers me because I'm used to being a lot bigger. Processing and closing probably anywhere from 6 to 8 loans.
So you have room for more.
I have plenty of room for more, guys. I'm not overworked. Just so you guys know, one of the places I came
Just
from.
wants to make sure that you can be all hers and
Yeah.
she can work with you without you having to worry about you being bothered with somebody else.
Don't worry about that.
All hours, not mine.
Yeah, are you okay with like a collar or something?
If I get overwhelmed, just so you guys know, I mean, I literally, if I have enough business, I'll hire a processor. It came close to that last year, but again, that was on the older system. The newer system, things are just so much more streamlined. But yeah, don't worry about that. Give me too much business. It's never the case. We have so much support at White Group. That's. I can't tell you, between all the help desks and management and corporate and just everything, there's always someone to help. And I could hire someone like that. I already have people in the industry that I've let know, look, if I ever need a processor or a junior loan officer, so I already have at least a couple people that I know I could easily pull that are willing to come from the company. So that will never be an issue, I promise.
Thank you.
Yep. And in turn times, since we just kind of touched on that, my turn times right now, I can close a loan in 25, 30 days if you need me to. All right, so. But real quick, before everyone latches on to that, if everything is 25 and 30 days is tight. I just want everybody to know it's tight because right now the appraisers in Delaware, are taking 10 to 14 days. But it's because there's only so many of them. Like us, we can always hire part-time underwriters from the MI companies is what we do because they're already experienced. You don't have to train them. That's what we do when we get overflowed. They can't do that. An appraiser is an appraiser. They're not just going to go hire another appraiser. So there's only so many in the state. So it just unfortunately is what it is. With that being said, that's why You know, 25 to 30 days is just a little bit tight, but we definitely can get it done. I always advise 40 days to 45 days for closing and about 25 to 30 days for commitment. That's a perfect scenario where no one's gonna be pulling their hair out, not at all. But if you need to shut it down in 30 days, no worries, let me know. We'll put a rush on the appraisal, we'll put a rush on everything, and get it done for you guys. Just so you guys also know, we have, Wyker also utilizes a 24-hour clock. So the opening of the loan, so I take the loan, put the application in, we have what's called QLR, Quality Loan Review. That's probably one of the smartest things they've done that's really helped out our turn times outside of the system. Because basically what it is, it's like another processor, and they have to have everything in there. Most loan officers, again, weren't underwriters or processors, so they don't send in clean files. They just don't. You would be amazed. You would think it's simple. Get pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, assets, and ID and social, maybe a mortgage statement, something of that nature. It's usually pretty simple. You'd be amazed what they get. So QRL is nice. They'll go through there, kind of comb through the file. So by the time it gets to the processor, it's really like just a touch or two, right down to rating. So it's, and that's utilized that part is being done 24 hours a day. They have a 24-hour clock. So again, it's just another thing that's helped us speed things up. Any other questions, guys?
Good stuff.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you.
No problem. One last thing just throw out there. I do have some different flyers for you guys, for your customers, just to leave for you. Basically, this is talking about the bumps in the road with closing. So basically it goes over don't apply for credit, don't be late with payments, don't make a large purchase.
Do you have that guy's phone number on there for them to call to prove that you shouldn't?
Yeah, they call this
Good
guy.
testimonial.
Literally. Don't be late with documentation, that's key. I always tell customers, we're asking for something, just get it to us in 24 hours. If you can't, let me know, because I probably know how to go get it for you. And then try not to change jobs. But I will say, you know what, the changing jobs thing, at worst case scenario, it's gonna push it off 30 days. Because all I need is someone to be at their job for 30 days worth of pay stub, and a written verification of employment, and they're good, as long as there's no major gap of employment. So just so you guys know.
So is that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
But I have a friend who wants to buy a home, and he's basically in the same line of work, generally speaking, but he went from making, you know, like 20 a year to like 40 a year. Like
We'll take
a couple months ago.
So what we'll do in that scenario, so it's a perfect scenario. So what we would do is say, all right, I need you at your job 30 days. Now he can get into to the agreement of sale and everything. I just need to know the offer letter so I can see how much he's making, so I can do that for the pre-approval. I'll say, hey, go make an offer on the house. You just need to make sure the closing date gives me at least enough time to get that 30 days worth of pay stubs, and then give me at least another week after that to be able to process and underwrite your file and get you to closing. And what we would do is a written verification of employment, verifying his new income,
Right.
and that's what his income would be. We're not going to average it. And also, doesn't, just so you guys know, it doesn't have to be in the same field of work. He could have been,
Wow.
working over at Wawa, and now is an electrician.
Right.
As long as no major gaps in employment, they got rid of the same industry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
they got,
gotcha.
or let's say we got rid of that
That's
override.
amazing.
That was an override that most
No,
companies
goodness.
have.
Yeah.
The 3 open trade line thing that everyone's heard about, we don't have that. We got rid of that a while ago. I mean, some of these overrides are ridiculous, so it was
Wow.
nice getting rid of those. Definitely.
You're blowing our minds.
Anything you need, it's all about service.
Nice conversation.
But
Yeah.
most lenders, unfortunately,
There's no
were very corrupt, and most of them were still in this mindset of today. You know, let me just get what I can, it's gonna all end tomorrow. It's not gonna end tomorrow. We're in a 17-year cycle that's only about 1.5 years, 2 years into it. You know, if you wanna be in business in the mortgage industry, especially in the purchase world a long time, it's seriously, it's all about level of service and products. You know, you give them an amazing experience, you're gonna get referrals, you're gonna come back to you, agents are gonna refer people over to you. Like I said, you know, all the 40 agents in my office, I had to earn their business. And the sad thing is that the guy that I replaced was there for about 8 years, and he went to M&T Bank dead across the street. So it took me a good 9 to 12 months to get these guys to trust me and kind of just show them what I could do. So, you know, anything I can do for you guys, you know, show you what I can bring to the table as far as a team member, and just, you know, help add the worth. Don't hesitate to say that you got a team of people behind you, because you do. You know, we have an insurance guy, we have a title guy, attorneys, mortgage, anything that you need. If you already have services that you're using, that's no problem. We beyond understand.